Here's the next video of easy trigonometry. We're going to be doing some easy practice problems using what we learned in the past videos. So I'm going to use two different triangles with different angles and sides and stuff. And I gotta draw them. So here we've got one right triangle, and here is the other right triangle we will be using. So, since we have that triangle up there, let's do a different one. So this one, let's say we have triangle with an angle of 45 degrees and an angle of 45 degrees. And then angle of 90 degrees, of course. So add those all up, that makes it 180 degrees. And so, using these triangles I'm using with the 60, 30, and 90, and 45, 45, and 90, these are like actual triangles that you can memorize, and then it makes a lot of trigonometry really easy. So the sides and angles I'm writing down are like the actual measurements that it will always be, unless it's a like a similar triangle made bigger. So this is 1, this is 1. Since they're same angles, they will have equal sides. And then because of the Pythagorean theorem, that would be the square root of 2 is the length of the hypotenuse. So let's say we have the problem, the sine of 45 degrees equals what? So using what we learned up here, look at sine. You can also, it's very important to memorize. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent is opposite over adjacent. There's different mnemonics you can use to memorize those. You can look those up other places. So for sine opposite over hypotenuse, so both of these are 45. It doesn't matter which one you use. You can go ahead and do opposite is 1. And the hypotenuse, that's the longest side right here, square root of 2. Easy peasy. And if you use a calculator, you'll find a similar answer. You might have to multiply both sides, both to the numerator and denominator by square root of 2, but it'll still be good and the same. So next let's do cosine of 45 degrees equals what? So using what we learned up here, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Got adjacent one of 45 is 1, and then hypotenuse is square root of 2. 1 over square root of 2, and then tangent. What is the tangent of 45 degrees? That's opposite over adjacent, so we do opposite is 1, adjacent is 1, so 1 over 1. Alright, 1 over 1, but that just equals 1. Now, I'm going to do another of the same 60, 30, 90 triangle right here. And so, a way to remember this one is hypotenuse is 2, and then the 30, the one across from 30 degrees is always 1. It's like the lesser one, since it's the smaller angle, and 60 is always square root of 3. So, let's say we want to find the sine of, let's try the 60 degrees, since we did 30 degrees in the first video. Equals what? So the sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Got square root of 3 over 2. That's what the sine of 60 degrees is. Now we have cosine of 60 degrees equals what? Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. You got 1 over 2. And lastly, tangent of 60 degrees equals what? Opposite over adjacent, you got square root of 3 over 1. And that just makes the square root of 3. And there you go. There's some practice problems using the some good triangles to memorize.